Two friends.
Hi, I'm Laura.
Hi, I'm Vic.
One big gay chat.
From coming out,
Staying out,
and everything in between. Long-term relationships,
dating disasters,
quite possibly the most unreasonable icks.
the BGC Podcast.
Now, Vic, right. Obviously, I'm a gay woman.
What?
So, because I know that we have listeners that are not part of the LGBTQIA plus community.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to hear you talk about the different types of lesbian, right?
Yeah.
Now, Vic has taught me about this because I didn't really know. All I knew about was a butch lesbian and a lipstick lesbian, but apparently there's more. So, Vic, for the benefit of our non-community, and I hate that word, but our non-community listeners,
Yeah.
please give us a lowdown of what the different types of lesbian there are.
Okay, now, I may have these wrong. So this is just what I believe they are.
So feel free to come at Vic,
Yeah.
and let her know if she's wrong.
Absolutely at me, educate me, please. But this is what I have in my head.
Okay, cool.
So you've got the femmes or the lipstick lesbians. So
The girly girls.
the girly girls,
Okay.
a lot like your partner.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then you have the stems / soft masks. So they're more maybe masculine presenting
Okay.
slightly, so
Okay.
wear makeup, will wear the odd like women's bit of clothing, more masculine presenting clothing,
Right.
that kind of business. And then you have the masks, who maybe like you. Actually, I think you come under STEM. You tell me. So mask would be short hair, men's clothes, aftershave, a more masculine presenting female. And then you have butch. I really don't like that term. That's just a me thing, but I just think do we need to?
But what could you do? What could you say? Ooh, let's think of a new one.
Well, I think we would need to talk to the butch. Sorry if I offend anyone. Community.
And see what they...
And see how because they met people who present themselves as butch, or what is classed as butch. Again, I really don't like this, but they may well be like, actually, yeah, because I am. Fair play.
Let us know.
Yeah, do let us know. But they're the more very short hair. If you were to a very stereotypical back in the day lesbian. Do you know what I mean?
I love the physical. People who are listening, you will not know what I'm laughing about, but Vic just did an impression of a very masculine woman.
Yes, but that's and I've growing up, all I heard really was butch.
Yeah.
I didn't really hear of any other type of lesbian, bar a spaghetti lesbian, but that's just hilarious.
What the hell is a spaghetti lesbian?
I love that you don't know what that is. You don't know what a spaghetti lesbian is.
I have no fucking idea.
So a spaghetti lesbian is a woman who is straight until she's wet.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Now that you've said it, I think I've heard it before, but...
It's great. It's funny.
I've sort of heard it, but I think it was like in a joke sense, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so there's also spaghetti.
I mean,
so...
I don't class that as proper type.
Right, okay. So why can't we just go... This is my mind now. Like, why do we have to have lipstick / femme, then a stem, which sounds like someone that lives in a garden centre, and then you've got what's the next one? A mask.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing is short for masculine.
Yeah.
And then a butch. So what's the difference between a mask and a butch?
I mean, so a mask is not as masculine. They're just levels of mask. So
Right, okay.
you, for me personally, and again, tell me if you don't, I would class you as a mask.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a lipstick. Can you not just tell that by the way I
Listen,
look?
I'm not. Do you know what? I take back my laugh, because you can come under whatever category, should you choose to come under a category you like,
All right.
because this is a safe space. Safe space.
No, I would probably say, out of what you said, I would go in between a STEM mask,
Yeah.
because I don't just wear men's clothing.
No.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
I do buy women's clothing. But say, like, if I want a hoodie, it's going to be a man's hoodie because it's bigger and it's more comfy. I mean, no brainer.
Ah,
Hello.
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would say I'm in the middle of a STEM and mask.
Fair play.
So what can I be called?
In between a stem and a mask.
Yeah.
Soft mask.
Soft mask. So what does STEM stand for?
So I would have classed a stem and a soft mask under the same.
Right.
However, it's your preference.
Oh, I don't bloody know. I'm Laura. I don't know.
No, absolutely. And you don't need to, mate.
No,
you
I
don't
know.
need to.
I mean, I've been educated.
Yeah, I don't
And I
really
hope
think
you
I've
guys have been educated with
really
me.
anybody. I think I've just tried absolute shit.
I think that's a real like talent of yours as well, is that people can be funny and like take the like piss out of a minority, or potentially offend, but with your humor you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to be crass. Like, it is just top class jokes.
The thing is, especially with playing Dame, it is, I've always said, really, it is to me, and it's like with how my Dame is, I think a Dame should be like, people should feel like you're a member of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be like their auntie. You should be like their outrageous auntie, or whatever that they see at Christmas. I actually had, because the last, this is 11 years this year, I've played Dame at the Hall Theatre in Crawley. So that's now my residency I do every Christmas. And an audience member actually messaged me on Instagram not that long ago to say, obviously, she'd booked her tickets. And she actually put underneath, she said, it isn't Christmas for us in our family until we've seen our nutty old auntie. That's what she said. So that's, so I think if you need to, like I said, you need to they need to warm to you.
Yeah.
They need to feel comfortable with you. And also, that's the other thing, is if you look as outrageous and ridiculous as possible, and you don't mind taking the mickey out of yourself, I think you can get away with saying things to other people, because they won't be offended, because you're not making them feel uncomfortable or inadequate. You're not saying it to put them down.
It's not a
You
judgment.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's and again, I would never say anything nasty, but you can always say a little something about what colour someone's top is, or what they're doing, or what they're wearing, or where they're from, whatever. That's and to me, that's important, because you are putting your arms around the audience.
Yes.
I mean, by breaking that fourth wall and talking to them personally about something they have or have done, it makes them think, oh, this is, you know what I mean? It's more personal. That's the thing. That's how it should be. No one should ever feel uncomfortable.
No.
And like Vic's touched on, like, and you yourself, like, the times have changed, hasn't it? And people do tend to get offended very easily. But if there's a way that you can offend people, but by making them laugh, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is I also think, though, because there's always so much going on about people saying about being woke and politically correct and all that sort of thing, and people, and like I said, people should never feel like they're being picked on, or they shouldn't be made to feel uncomfortable. But there is also a certain amount of, there sometimes seems that the people who are offended about things tends to be louder. Do you know what I mean? As in their opinion ends up being louder than a lot of, you know what I mean? And I know things, like I said, things change, and we should be being fair to everybody. But sometimes there are people who are offended for offended sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's quite, it seems to me, is quite strong now is somebody being offended doesn't always necessarily mean it's offensive.
Yes.
You know
That's
what
so
I mean?
true.
Yes.
Because one person being because I mean every now and again you will get a complaint because it's not for everybody.
No.
But you'll read some of them and think, wow, you really went round the houses to find that, you know. Sort of go, oh, come on, you know, when they say, you go, do you honestly think that's what we meant? You know,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I said, it should be fair. The one thing as well at the moment is it's getting used to it as well, because obviously doing panto for 25 years, it's always been, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's something we're needing to work on.
Yes.
And I try, you know, and it's hard to not say it all the time because it's bred into your head. You know,
Absolutely.
you said
It's a normal thing to
am
say,
now
isn't it?
saying, you know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, or everyone, or all, or hello, folks, hello. Do you know what I mean? Trying to make it more inclusive, because you don't want to sort of alienate anybody, you know.
You know, I started a new job a couple of years ago, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like years. And I actually experienced a first bit of homophobia on my own.
Oh my God. What happened?
So I went to the toilet
Yeah.
and I used the customer toilets
Okay.
because I can't be asked to walk upstairs to the staff toilet.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
So I was in the
Absolutely.
toilet, doing my business, washing my hands, leaving, and then these couple of, I don't know, late teenagers, early 20s were coming in, and I was just going out. And I swear, I cannot be 100% certain,
Okay.
they went, ugh, lesbian.
No.
Yeah. And that is the first time I've ever experienced that on my own. Normally I'm with my
Stop.
partner. Yeah.
How old do you think they were?
I reckon they were probably late teens, early 20s.
No.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
It is disgusting. So I went straight back to like where I work and I was like, you'll never guess what happened. And they were like, what? And I told them what happened and they went, oh my God, did you report them? And I was like, no. And then another guy that I work with said, oh, did you say something? I was like, no. And he went, I fucking would have done. I was like, but that's you, it's not me.
Yeah. Can I ask why you didn't report it or say anything?
Because I couldn't be 100% sure
Okay.
because they were foreign.
Right.
So I didn't want to accuse them of saying something if they actually didn't.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
Okay.
And I just didn't think of it right there. And I didn't think I could report it.
Right. Probably a bit shocked as well.
Yeah. It really shocked me.
That's so shit. I'm so sorry, mate.
Yeah.
That's bollocks.
First time for everything, I suppose. Hopefully it's the first and last time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many, there is also so many times where what I do for a job is a very male dominated job. And the amount of customers that go, oh, here he is. And then I go, hello. And they're like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I must admit, I am, because of the way I look, because of my short hair, I barely wear any makeup or hardly ever wear makeup. I always do feel uncomfortable going into a ladies' toilet.
Okay.
Mainly because kids, they could get very confused and be like, why is there a man in the toilet? So I am very wary when I use public loos.
Okay. For other people.
For other people, not for me.
Okay.
Because I don't want to make them be like, oh my God, there was a man in the toilet. When I'm clearly not a man.
Yeah.
But it's like, yes, I sit down to piss.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think from now on, I'm just going to use the colleague toilets.
Fair play. So, it is Trans Plus History Week this week.
Is it?
It is. I saw a post the other day saying that it was coming up.
Why is there a plus?
I don't know. I was hoping you were going to have the answer to that.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Let me have
Let's see if it.
Let me have a
Let's
look.
educate ourselves. Vic.
Okay. Let's go on this journey together.
Let's do it.
Trans Plus History Week.
What is it?
And why do we need it?
Okay, well, I want to know what. Obviously, I know what trans is, but what's
Yep.
trans plus? Is that? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Let's have a little look, shall we? Aha, this week we're honouring the vibrant and diverse history of the trans community, celebrating trailblazers who changed the world for LGBTQIA Q plus people. Dive into our blog to hear blah blah blah. That's on the Stonewall UK Instagram page.
Well, Stonewall should be educating us as to why it's plus.
Founded by Queer AF, Trans Plus History Week is a week to learn and celebrate the rich and long history of trans, non-binary, gender diverse and intersex people. That's why. The plus will be non-binary, gender diverse and intersex.
Right.
Not the side. No, I know what's coming. We're not here to offend anyone.
We're not here to offend anyone, but it's like last month or last week
Yeah.
was Lesbian Visibility Week.
Yep.
I don't need a week.
No.
We should just all share pride. We're all put under that umbrella anyway.
Yeah.
So just have one freaking month. I don't get it. Don't have all these different weeks and months. There should be one big celebration for LGBTQIA plus people together. I don't need a fucking week.
I hear what you're saying.
I couldn't give a shit that it was Lesbian Visibility Week last week.
Go lesbians.
All I saw was the lesbian flag everywhere. And, my other half, she went, I didn't know we had a flag. I was like, well, we do.
When we went out the
Yeah.
other day, she was like, what flag's that? And we were
Yeah.
like, the lesbian flag.
Yeah. And then she said, it's very pink. And I went, well, it's pink and orange. I said, because, and I don't know if this is true, but the pink is for the lipsticks and the orange is for the butchers.
Hilarious. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I don't 100% disagree with you. But I think there's been a lot of fighting and, advocacy and
Activism. Oh my God, that does not sound right.
Is it activism?
There's been a lot of activists doing things.
Thank you. That have, fought for our rights as, one big flag. And I think one big flag, you know what I mean?
I mean, it is a giant flag.
Yes, one big community. And I think they feel after all that work and effort that's been put in for us to have the rights of everyone else, they feel that maybe us all crammed into 1 month, June.
Well, there's actually technically 2 months.
Is it?
Yeah, there's June, which is Pride Month.
Yeah.
You should know this. You're gay. There's June.
Right. Sorry. Yes. I did get a D- on the lesbian test. I do
You need
just
to retake
wanna-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's June, which is Pride Month, and then February is LGBTQ History Month.
Oh yes, the history.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm not really a big history buff, so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, again, thanks for all you did. But it just
Because we did a post for it, right? And I remember there was this guy on TikTok that went, that's June. And I went, no, that's Pride.
So I think maybe, and fair play to them, they feel that maybe not everyone getting their own month, but maybe just giving each letter, section, community, group or non-group a week to maybe delve deeper into their fight and their struggle. I am a soft mask. I am a soft mask. I am a soft mask. Fuck off, mate. I think that's probably, and do you know what? If they like, again, I'm with you. I don't need a week, but I'm not against it. I'm not. If they want to, educate people more and stuff, then I'm here for it. Fair play.
Then why put it all under one bracket?
What do you mean?
LGBTQIA plus.
Well, because I mean,
Because what? Because we're all put under the weird category. I say weird inverted commas for our audio listeners because we're not weird, we're normal.
Absolutely. Well, speak for yourself.
Well, yeah. But if we're going to have celebratory months for each individual part of the LGBTQIA plus community, why make it the LGBTQIA plus community? Why not just have the gay community, the lesbian community, the bisexual community, the trans community, the queer community? Don't put it all under one bracket, because that, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that is going to cause us being different, inverted commas, that's going to cause more hate, in my opinion. And I'm sure there'll be people out there that do not agree with me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's in my own opinion.
I see what you're saying, and I think obviously LGBTQIA plus has been around for decades.
That whole letter string hasn't.
No, but
They keep adding.
yes, but I think if you think of each individual letter, for example, there wasn't many out in each group
No.
because they weren't allowed. So I feel that they needed to come together to create a larger group, safety in numbers, bigger voice, reaching more people. And as time's gone on, that's just how it's happened. You know, that's how it's developed. And we've added these letters because we haven't had the openness, and we haven't had the welcome, and we haven't had the rights. So we understand what that's about.
Fair.
So
Why
I think
do you have to make sense, for fuck's sake?
So I called my doctor, and they very good that if the queue's too long, they'll actually send you a link to like fill out a form of like what's wrong.
Like an e-consult, because
Yes.
my doctor does that, and every time now whenever I want to make an appointment, I just go straight to the e-consult.
Yeah.
Because I can't be asked to wait in a queue.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
Very,
the
very
music's
good.
shit.
So there's no bangers on there. No bangers. Yeah, so I filled that out. And do you know what? Thinking about it, actually, it was really interesting. It sparked a couple of thoughts for me. So I was filling the form out, and, you know, they ask you standard like name, surname, date of birth and all that. And they also ask you what your gender is,
Okay.
which I didn't think anything of. So there was male and female.
Yeah.
Click female, and then directly underneath that box they had like an information alert, and
Right.
it said, why don't we have more options, ? And you press on it,
Okay.
which I was like, do you know what, I'm intrigued, like, as to, you know, why don't you know, with the day and age that we live in, why don't you have more options? And I pressed on it, and they basically said, we're working on not needing to know your birth gender, but as it stands at the moment, we do.
Did they
medically.
specifically say like what is your gender at birth in this question as
No,
well?
they just. That's actually a really good question. I don't know if they worded it. What is your birth gender,
Yeah.
or whether it was just your gender. I can't remember, but they did say that they're hoping to have more options, or
Yeah.
for this not to be needed by, I think it was the end of spring of this year.
Oh, okay. So they're really starting to try and move things forward with things.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I've noticed like there's a lot of forms nowadays where you have to, you know, you've got the usuals like what's your name, what's your gender, and 9 times out of 10 it says male, female, or prefer not to say.
Yeah.
And then you've got like what's your nationality, and you put British, and then you've got all like I'm white British, I'm mixed British, I'm all the different ones that you can do. And then there's also stuff like what's your sexual orientation,
Yeah,
and I'm always like, why do you need to know this?
yeah,
Doctors, yes, totally understand it, because obviously if it's something to do with your health, then that would be a good thing to know. But if I'm going for a job, why do they say, what's your sexual orientation?
What do you think? Why do you think they're asking that?
Do you really want to know why I think they're asking that?
Hit us with it.
I think it's because they want a box tick.
I mean, potentially, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and I don't want to just get a job because I'm a box tick and I'm like, oh, we have some diversity in this company. She's gay. Don't give me the job because I'm gay. Give me the job because I'm good at the job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather, get a job because I am qualified for it and I've worked hard for it and stuff. But I know some people, and to a degree, I kind of agree. If you're just going to give me a job because I'm gay, well then fair play. Like, I'll take the pay rise if it's a pay rise. Do you know what? Fine. If it means that I get the job and you're ticking a box, again, I would much rather have the job because I'm qualified for it and I've got the skills and stuff.
Yeah.
But if it means I get the job that I want, fine. Absolutely.
Would you
fine.
not feel a bit cheated by that, though?
Would I feel cheated? No. But if there was someone that the people that could be cheated are someone that maybe doesn't have the same sexual orientation as me.
Yeah.
And could be slightly better, slightly more qualified, slightly more experienced, and they don't get it.
Yeah, it's a bit like, ugh, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, you swipe and whatever. Everyone knows which one I'm talking about. You swipe.
Make sure you swipe the right way.
I did not do that and panicked. But that's okay. We move. We all make mistakes. Yeah, so I would obviously use swiping. It's all based on appearance mainly, isn't it? Let's be real. That's what the pictures are there for.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So just please,
Right.
please, people who take pictures from up here and they're like this, stop doing that. Stop. It's so... God.
So you don't see their double chins.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if you have I like a double chin. I like curvy girls. I don't care. Also, you should not care if you have a double chin.
Well, yeah,
if
true.
you care that much, do something about it. Lovely.
Yeah.
I don't care. This,
I don't understand that. I've never
God,
understood that.
it's so icky, bruv.
Yeah.
Like, why are you what are you doing? What pops into my head when
I'm
I
thinking
see it,
you're probably thinking the same thing.
you're knelt in front of a guy.
Yes, 100%.
And that's what you want the guy to think he's... Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. You're begging it. Like,
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. I can't even with it.
So do you not even swipe if they're doing that?
No. Like, even if it looks like a half decent picture, like, I would probably like that to look down and be like, okay, not in a picture.
Find that out in time. Yeah.
Please leave some stuff to the imagination.
Yeah.
Like, God, I can't believe it's still a thing, and it's so common.
Is it really?
Mate.
I need to play your Tinder. Look at me. It's a game.
Yeah, well, your other half's not allowed to.
Oh yeah, she picked some right weirdos, didn't she, for you?
Yeah, she's not allowed.
Yeah, no.
She can look.
She can't swipe.
She can't swipey swipe.
So what was it like then growing up? Because obviously there's, forgive me if I sound ignorant, but there is, in any sort of religion, there always seems to be a stigma between being gay. So what was it like growing up as a gay Muslim?
Well, I tell you the truth, in the early days, being a gay Muslim wasn't a problem. We weren't, we didn't have those kind of factions where you had like extremists and moderates and, what we all know of, we understand that there are different types of Muslims and Islamic sects and what they believe, sects, not sects, what they believe. So, yeah, in the early days, it wasn't a problem because I wouldn't hear bad stuff about Muslims, say, on a kind of theological level. I wouldn't hear that as a kid. What you'd hear is like normal homophobia, like I shirtlifter, backstabber, whatever. This is saying like derogatory terms about gay people. They weren't really based on the Muslims I knew. They didn't know a lot about their own faith, so they weren't coming down and like engaging with you on a religious level. It was just ignorant, So, it was stuff like that, really. And I dealt with that in the mainstream community as well. I had white people calling me a homo, shirtlifter and all that. So our community, we didn't have those kind of, because this was pre 9/11, pre 9/11 and pre 7/7, right? kind of, we had 7/7 in this country, with other atrocities after that, even like just the bombings. But this was all pre that. So people didn't really know that. Even in my community, there wasn't that religiosity that there is now, because we were still a new community then. In the 80s, my parents were both immigrants from South Asia. We were a new community. So, we were just economic migrants, really. Although we did have a connection with Britain because of the empire. Most of the people I knew weren't really religious. So it wasn't really an issue me being gay then. It became an issue subsequently after 9/11.
It comes later. That's so crazy to think, isn't it? That it has got worse since the time has gone on. You would think that it would get better as the time goes on. It's such a weird, but I think it's because of, like you say, like all the extremists, like giving a bad name sort of thing. That's crazy to hear that now is worse than what it was.
And then we had the final housemate. And we were all waiting for this, weren't we?
We really
were.
We
were waiting for a out there gay man, and Dean came out.
What a cool guy.
He just reminds me of Rylan.
I want him to be my friend.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I really think his style is so cool.
I mean, I put here, outfit giving Frank Spencer and Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. Because he had a beret.
Yeah, and I'm here for that. He loves a beret, here for it. I just love the tattoos, his style. I thought his boyfriend looked really cool as well.
Yeah.
Like, vibes.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was good. That was it for the housemates. My other half said, it's a bit weird this year. And I was like, what are you talking about? She went, normally you have, a bit of a, mixture of people. And she said, this year it's like Chavs Are Us.
Yeah, she did.
It's like they've all come down to audition to be the next Blazing Squad.
Is there anything that was like, because obviously, like you said, it's 45, a whole day put into 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And as a viewer, I watched it. And is there anything that you would change about your time in the Big Brother house? I'm mainly talking about the whole Marcello situation.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I think because this is the conversation I've had many times now, and I'm like, you people that know me have said we knew. Like my friend Danny, she was like, we knew something was wrong from like week 3, end of week 2, beginning of week 3, because you started to change a little bit in your behavior, and like there were shots of you where you just wasn't you. And I was like, yeah, it's because I'd said things and brought up things about the situation with him, but it never got shown. Right. So there were things happening in the house that I didn't agree with. And I even said to Big Brother, so when we had to nominate his head of house, which I think a lot of people were like, when we was in the room doing it, it was fine. And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. I can say it to their faces. But then you're on the sofas, and then the lights go down. And then all of a sudden, my heart's thumping. And I'm thinking, this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Like, because they're looking at you. And I'm like, this is quite rough. Like, these are people too, Like, I don't want to upset anyone or make anyone feel like shit. So, and I think Ali found it hard as well, because we were both a bit like, oh my God, like, she got quite emotional about it. So when we gave our reasons, they wasn't entirely the full reason, because my mind just went blank. Yeah. And I'm not the greatest at articulating my words in ways that others can. I will just say it how it comes out. Right. And then sometimes I'm like, oh no, maybe I should have said something a little bit different. But with that thing, like I said in our nomination, they didn't show it. I said, look, I'm worried because certain behaviours that he's showing is quite worrying, and I fear it could like affect housemates, like and him really. And he was called to the diary room on multiple occasions for his behaviour. I even had this conversation the other day that, and it really made, there was a time in there, and people were going to say it's not true or it didn't happen, but I the amount of times I heard the word batty man, or I heard and I was speaking to Ali about this, and I was like, I didn't say anything because I'm like, surely not. Surely I'm not here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. Everything is so heightened in the house. And then Ali was like, no, you heard it because I'd hear it too. And I was like, wow, okay. But then I started to think, did they not call? Obviously, they got called to the diary room about their behaviours. We didn't know what they were being, and they couldn't discuss what was being said. I can only hope that it was cool and they were spoken about, because I only heard it once or twice and never again. There was always the boys were always joking about, I don't know the context of it, but there was always someone joking about being bi, like a bi joke, and it was like someone called Bi Brian, and I was like, what? This is not funny. Like, are you? I don't know what your joke is, but it's not okay on any level. And then when I tried to speak about that, obviously in my exit interview, I got shut down because it wasn't part of their narrative. So, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that, because actually I've come out of the house and had a lovely warm reception from a lot of people, especially the queer community. So I'm not bothered by it. But there were things that happened in there that people did not see and hear. I know what I heard. I know what I saw. I know how I was made to feel. And that's all I need to say. And they know that. And Big Brother is very good at like calling people up on it, but they don't have to show if they don't have to.
We could have a good relationship with America as long as he doesn't win.
Please.
Because he loves Nigel Farage, doesn't he?
He went to his rally.
Yeah.
And didn't Trump say Nigel Farage won the Great British vote? Really? It's like, fuck off, you.
Yeah.
Oh my
bastard.
God, I said that word. I said it.
And I didn't even flinch. I was
You
like,
didn't,
yeah. Also, can we talk about how good your Trump impression is?
Was it good?
Really good.
I just like to talk like that. It's like that, isn't it? The bottom teeth come up. You can't see the top teeth.
You're so good. That's really good.
I should be an actor, darling.
We've already proven it in this podcast.
Well, yeah.
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 We're so good.